Well, I got to be honest with you. At the end of the first half, when it was 19-7 Rams, I thought, oh my goodness, we're in trouble. We're going to not only lose this game, we might lose this game 40-7 because my offense looked inept. My defense could not stop anybody. And Lane Johnson went out on the first drive of the game and was out the remainder of the game. And Matt Pryor, who filled in for him at right tackle in the first half, was a human turnstile, and the Eagles' offensive line could not protect Jalen Hurts. Second half, my team comes out, we get the ball. The first play of the second half, Jalen Hurts gets sacked by Jared Verse. It is a fumble. It is picked up by the Rams. The Rams, the very next play, run a play action pass. Matthew Stafford to Kyron Williams for the touchdown. It is 26-7 Rams. And I am about ready to give this one up and get ready for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game this coming weekend. And then that guy that a lot of people in the media says can't throw, he's not a top 5 quarterback, he's a running back. Gee, I don't know what he did. He only led the Eagles on 3 straight scoring drives, complemented by 2 Jordan Davis blocked field goal attempts. Give the Eagles not only the comeback, but most importantly to those betting out there, the cover as they screw every Rams fan in America that took the Rams plus 3.5.
So here's my take on this. Is Saquon Barkley, yes, the Rams kept him bottled up. I get it. But if you did not have Saquon Barkley on the field, I don't think you make this comeback. And here's why. Everybody was criticizing the Eagles like, where's the passing game? Why isn't A.J. Brown involved? Where's Devontae Smith? All this and that. Well, for me, from when I watch the Eagles, you guys are a run-first team and you use the run to set up the passing game. That's not trying to discredit Jalen Hurts in any way, but the more you run it with Saquon, the more the defense is going to be wary of that, and the more you're going to get those passing opportunities with A.J. Brown, with Devontae Smith, with Dallas Goedert. So I think again, I get it. The Rams, for the most part, kept Saquon in check. He didn't want to have one of his big games, but because of the threat of the running game, that's what I think allowed the Eagles to really find their passing game.
I half agree with you, and here's why. Because I do agree with you that in the first half, the Eagles were trying to use the run to set up the pass, the way they did the majority of the end of last season. But as we've seen coming into this year, it started with the Cowboys in week 1. It's gone all the way to the Rams in week 3. The teams are not caring as much about A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith mostly. They are in zone coverage. They are putting an umbrella for the most part on the defense. And they are putting 7, 8, 9 people in the box. And they are daring my team to run the football because they're trying to stop Saquon Barkley at all costs.
Hence why I explained that Saquon's the most important piece. Go ahead.
On the contrary, in the second half, what was the change the offense made? It was to not only pass the ball more, but it was to go no huddle, get more up tempo. And once they used the pass consistently, then guess what started opening up, Josh, was the running game. Saquon Barkley did start getting more holes in the second half because the defense did start to honor Jalen Hurts' threat in the passing game. And Greg Olsen on the telecast for Fox specifically said the notion that the Eagles always use the run game to set up the pass is wrong. They can use the pass to set up the run, which is what they did in the second half. So I agree it can go both ways. I'm a bigger believer personally as my offensive mind. You know my philosophy in this. I think you pass to score, and I think you run to win. I think pass early and run late, wear down that defense with the run game, and the Eagles had to pass more because they were behind. But I also don't think enough credit is being given to Vic Fangio and that Eagles defense for making the adjustments that they did. Because in the first half, the Rams were running wide zone with Kyron Williams and Blake Corum just getting gashes, 8, 9, 10 yards a pop. Once they stuffed that up and turned Matthew Stafford into more of a drop back passer, that's what turned the game around for the defense, who again only gave up 7 points on that short field because of the Jalen Hurts fumble.
Right. So to be fair, I was not able to watch this game because they put it at 1:00, stupidly. And so at least for me, they showed Packers Browns here in Cleveland. So I was only able to see this game via highlights. And the NFL posted the wild ending.
Yeah, and unfortunately for you, I don't understand why the NFL is doing this. And I brought this up last week, especially for Fox. If you have a game on Fox, they are not showing any score updates at all on the bottom screen, and they're barely showing in-game highlights like when they go and show a touchdown here and there. CBS at least has the little box in the left-hand corner, but it is driving me nuts and how much I feel like I'm missing because I don't know what's going on in these games because they're not on the screen anymore.
Yeah, like I want to be able to watch this Eagles-Buccaneers game on Sunday, but I can't because they're showing Browns-Lions at 1:00 on Fox.
So we do have a comment here that says, what's your take on the unpredictability of the Eagles' offensive play calling? By unpredictability, do you mean run or pass? Because honestly, this is how I feel about my team. They're unbeatable until someone beats them. I think they have the best roster in football. I think they have a multitude of ways to beat you. They can beat you with a run game. They can beat you with a pass game. They can beat you in a defensive-minded contest like we saw in week 2 against Kansas City. The last time the Eagles lost, I'm sure we'll get to this in a minute, Josh, when Jalen Hurts was starting fully in a game and finished, was this time last year, week 4, on my birthday against Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I kind of think it keeps... Yeah, it does.
I mean, the Eagles are the only team in the NFL. Maybe Detroit has some of this. Maybe Buffalo is starting to get there. That you can't defend everything on the field. There's just too much talent.
Yeah, I agree with you. But, when you have this type of game, the question is always going to be, was it a Rams collapse or an Eagles comeback?
Oh, this is 100% an Eagles comeback, and it's not even close. The Eagles won that game. The plays they made in all 3 phases. And I got to give credit to the Rams special teams because no one's talking about this. You know what set the Eagles up in the first half was Cardi, the Rams kicker. He's doing what they now call a dirty kick, which is that squib kick where it pops up in the air near the landing zone. My team couldn't field the ball.
Right. But I always I feel like when you ask that type of question of whether it was a collapse or a comeback, you're taking away credit from the team that was able to execute the comeback. I get it. Like, if you go back to week 1, Baltimore, things went sideways for Baltimore, and that allowed Buffalo to come back. But why
Buffalo made the plays to initiate the comeback?
That's what I'm saying. Like, why is it always, we have to take credit from the other team? And you know what I mean?
No, I agree. Again, I think there are scenarios where it's like you're up 35-7 midway through the third quarter. Like, you got to close that door. It doesn't matter. That's a collapse. But there's also scenarios where it's like the other team just made some bad plays, and if it wasn't for a turnover here or there, they win the game. And the funny thing is, Josh, I don't know if you know about this, the Rams' last 10 games, they're 7-0 versus everybody not named the Eagles, and they're 0-3 versus the Eagles.
You know what? I heard this, and I kind of think it's true. The Rams are becoming to the Eagles what the Bills are to the Chiefs. Or
I was going to say more Baltimore than Buffalo, because at least Buffalo beats them in the regular season, but I can agree with that sentiment.
Okay. I would say, okay. But I'll say it like this. The Rams are to the Eagles what the Bills are to the Chiefs in the playoffs. But if you're talking all around, then yes, it would be Ravens to the Chiefs.
Well, that's why I said that, because the Rams and Eagles have played one time in the postseason. They played 2 times in the regular season.
Yes. And it was interesting because, like you mentioned earlier, Saquon was able to run wild on the Rams in both games last season.
And they flat out just said no. I'm telling you, if you watch this game, their eyes were on Saquon Barkley the whole game. They said, we don't care if A.J. Brown gets 200 yards. We are stopping Saquon Barkley.
And that's why I think they could have utilized the play action game a little more.
Well, it's hard to when you can't run the ball in the first half, which is why the passing game opened up the run game, because Barkley did get most of his yards in the second half. As a matter of fact, they tried play action. They tried some dump offs, some handoffs. The Rams they had 10 guys on him. He could not escape them until they proved they could throw the football down the field. And you know what I say as a fan? Like, again, people said Jalen Hurts couldn't throw. Jalen Hurts couldn't do this. Every single time you doubt Jalen Hurts, he just said, okay, what's this?
Okay, so I heard this, and I want to get your take on it. The Eagles are almost becoming like this generation's version of the New England Patriots, where if you count them out, they'll be like, watch this.
So I have a stat for you, Josh.
Okay.
The Eagles, in their last 20 games, do you want to guess their record?
19-1?
That is correct.
Yes, I know this stat.
Do you want to know what the record is for most consecutive victories / in a row sort of thing out of the amount of games?
3?
No. The Patriots, a similar run in 2003, 2004 when they won back-to-back Super Bowls. They won 20 out of 21 games.
Okay. Don't take this as me comparing Jalen Hurts to Tom Brady or comparing Bill Belichick to Nick Sirianni, or vice versa. But it does feel like when you watch the Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni relationship, it does feel a little Brady Belichick-esque. At least from my perspective.
Hey, I'm not going there as a fan yet. I'm not trying to jinx myself. But let's talk about who, and I'm going to let you go first on this one because you're not a fan. Obviously, I am. Who is the biggest threat to my Eagles in the NFC?
There's a few teams you could put in the mix here. I would not have said Detroit after week 1, but you absolutely have to put the Lions in the mix now. I mean, dropping 52 against Chicago, and then on Monday Night Football going into Baltimore and beating Lamar Jackson. The way they were playing defense was unbelievable.
Oh, I was shocked. I mean, Lamar was hesitant to run. We're going to talk about it from the Ravens' perspective in a little bit, but that was as impressive a victory. My guy, Jalen Sandvik, I texted you right after the game. That was a great victory. Shout out to you, because I was shocked. I thought Baltimore, with their history of playing against NFC teams and Lamar Jackson's history on Monday night, I thought Baltimore was going to roll.
Yeah. So Detroit is definitely in the mix. Tampa Bay is definitely in the mix. We were going to preview this game anyway, but your boogeyman over the last couple seasons has been the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
It's the Bucs to the Seahawks. We can't win in Tampa or Seattle.
Yes, but you are catching a little bit of a break with this game because the Buccaneers will not have Mike Evans.
They're not, but who's not to say Emeka Buka's not going to go on for 150 yards?
Yes. So I would say Detroit, Tampa Bay. I would, even though you came back and beat them, I still have to include the Rams. And despite Jordan Love making one of the dumbest decisions I have ever seen, I don't know why he threw that ball. Grant Delphin is literally right there. What are you doing, Jordan Love? Why? What? as a Browns fan, I was very happy about it. Don't get me wrong. We'll get to Packers Browns here in a minute, but like, why, Jordan Love? Why? But I still have to put the Packers in there. I still have to.
So answer the question on the screen though. Out of those four you named, who's the biggest?
It's either Tampa Bay or Detroit. I'm gonna go with, because they have a history of beating you. Granted, it's in their home stadium. I'm gonna say it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now.
I actually disagree with you. I think the two biggest threats are the other two teams you mentioned, the Packers and the Rams.
Not the Lions?
No, because I think the Lions' regression is still coming. I don't trust the Lions full season. I watched what Green Bay did to them week 1, and to me, that will be a concern. I think the Ravens, we know how they get off the slow starts in the season. We know how they have these weird little clunkers. I told you going into the year, Josh, I was a little bit weary about the Ravens and their ability to repeat as AFC North champions. I think the Lions are good. I think the Lions are now going to get the, oh my God, you're so good treatment, and they'll beat the Browns, no problem. But they have a very tough schedule coming up, and I still don't know if they win the division.
It's interesting. You know, the Ravens were favored by 12.5 against us, and yet in week 3, the Packers were only 7.5 point favorites.
Well, the difference is home and road. I mean, that's the difference there.
Okay, but let me finish.
Okay.
The Lions are at home for this game against us, and they're like 8.5 point favorites.
Which makes sense. I think it says more about the Browns defense than anything else. I think Vegas has respect for the Browns defense.
Yes, but like with how much the Lions offense has been firing on all cylinders, I would have thought they'd be like at least 10 point favorites. But getting back to the question at hand.
So I'm picking those two teams because, one, I think the Rams match up very well with the Eagles. They've shown the ability to play the Eagles very tough. They just have not came through. And I think my NFC Championship prediction still stands that the Green Bay Packers will be making a trip to Lincoln Financial Field. So that's the way I look at it, where the Lions and Bucks may end up playing each other, or they may not play Philly. I think it's very likely to get to the Super Bowl. Philadelphia has to go for one or both of the Packers and Rams. They may not have to go for Tampa or Detroit.
God. Honestly, your two biggest games are both on the road, actually. This week at Tampa, and then week 10 at Green Bay.
Well, I could have made an argument. It was this stretch here, right? Week 2 at Kansas City, home against the Rams, at Tampa. You want to go ahead and include Denver in there as well at home, week 5. I think that 4-game stretch was huge. I said if we get out of that 3-1, I'd be happy. Listen, there's a legitimate possibility this team could start 5-0 and they face 4 playoff teams from a year ago and their arch rival in Dallas.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Brandon. It's amazing when you look at how much the Eagles have become like the Thanos of the NFL.
We have taken the mantle from the Chiefs.
Yeah, they have. It's honestly crazy that we go from the Brady Belichick dynasty to the Mahomes Reed dynasty, and now we could be. I don't want to say it's going.
I'm trying to block my ears, Josh. I don't want to hear it yet.
We could be on the verge of a Hurts Sirianni dynasty. Although you said the same thing about the Denver Nuggets.
Well, I said the same thing about the Indianapolis Colts 4 years ago when they had Frank Reich and Carson Wentz. We weren't on the air yet. That's not the here or there. That's my worst take of all time, and I will own it.